Thank you for joining this short webinar showing you how to complete the Customs Declaration using the Customs Declaration Service. This is step 10 of a series of short webinars taking you through the Customs Declaration Service guidance on completing an import declaration. This table sets out the step-by-step guides we'll be covering in this series. We'll be showing you screenshots from gov.uk. HMRC is constantly improving the digital experience of our customers, so you may find that some of these screenshots will be slightly different to those you'll see on gov.uk. This webinar series follows Hallie, who is importing children's t-shirts into Great Britain from the USA. She has her own software product, which means she can submit her own declarations via the Customs Declaration Service. Her t-shirts will be entering free circulation in Great Britain. Please remember to follow the 10 steps in the navigation guide in order, otherwise your declaration will fail validation. Hallie needs to ensure that she's on the Navigate the CDS Declaration Instructions for Imports page, previously referred to as the Navigate the UK Trade Tariff CDS Volume 3 for imports. If Hallie scrolls down, she'll see the 10 steps she needs to follow. Hallie scrolls down to step 10, which focuses on completing the Customs Declaration whilst referring to the appendices that relate to specific data elements. In the previous webinar, Hallie completed her declaration by reviewing all data element groups using the CDS Declaration Completion Instructions for Imports alongside appendices 1 and 2. However, some data elements require specific codes that can be found in additional appendices. In this webinar, Hallie is reviewing the data elements in Group 6 and is trying to complete data element 617, which relates to the national additional codes. She has checked appendices 1 and 2, but there is no information on data element 617 in those appendices. Therefore, Hallie reads the information on this data element with particular focus on the subheading All Declaration Categories. From this, Hallie can see that, as identified in step 2, her goods are 0 rated, and this needs to be declared in this data element. Hallie clicks on Appendix 19, which has specific data element information on how to declare goods subject to VAT 0 rating, which opens this page. Hallie selects View Online. This then opens this page, which has a list of possible codes and their descriptions that can be declared in data element 617. Hallie reviews all the codes that might be relevant to her declaration. The only code that Hallie found that is relevant to her declaration is VATZ. Hallie has now started her journey of completing her customs declaration. It's important that she reviews all the previous steps to ensure that she has used the correct information and identified her codes correctly. As a summary, we will now take a quick look at the previous steps. Step 1 was about identifying Hallie's declaration category. Hallie continues to review Appendix 21A, which relates to Declaration Category H1. Step 2 was about finding the specific commodity code for Hallie's declaration, which she has to revisit in later steps to check whether any other information is needed, for example, in relation to additional information or document codes. Step 3 was to identify Hallie's procedure code. This is the first time Hallie used Appendix 1, which she continued to use throughout her declaration. In steps 4 and 5, Hallie used Appendix 1 and the data element 110 to data element 111 correlation matrix to identify the permitted additional procedure codes, and used Appendix 2 to determine which additional procedure codes were relevant to her declaration scenario. In step 6, Hallie identified the possible additional information code for her declaration. To do this, Hallie used Appendix 4, alongside Appendices 1, 2, and the UK Integrated Online Tariff. Step 7 identified the document and other references codes using Appendix 5, alongside Appendix 1 and 2, as well as the UK Integrated Online Tariff. Steps 8 and 9 were about Hallie taking the information she had already collected and using the CDS declaration completion instructions for imports to find the other data elements, whilst ensuring that Appendix 1 and Appendix 2 take precedence. In the final step, Hallie uses the appendices to identify specific codes for specific data elements. Once Hallie has completed step 10, she has found all her codes for her declaration. Hallie has now identified how to successfully find all the necessary information and codes for her declaration. Once Hallie has identified all the information and the codes, her next step will be to complete and then submit her declaration. If you have any questions regarding imports, please go to the Imports and Exports General Enquiries on gov.uk. You can also contact HMRC via any of the channels, such as Digital Assistant, web chat or phone.